So today's question is, what does the Bible say about temptation? Well, first, let's define temptation. Temptation is the desire to do something, especially something wrong or unwise, okay? So I'll give you an example of temptation. So an example of temptation is stealing money. So you know that it's wrong to steal money from someone, but you have that desire to steal money from someone. That's temptation, okay? Again, it's that desire to do something that you know is wrong, okay? So basically the point is, if you know something is wrong, you shouldn't do it, okay? So that's a way to not fall into temptation. It's, if you know that something is wrong, then you shouldn't be doing it, okay? That's the point, okay? Another example of temptation is the desire to have sex with someone that is not your spouse, or the desire to have sex with a young child, okay? Even though you know that those things are wrong, okay, but you still have the desire to do those things, okay? That's temptation, okay? So that was another example of temptation, okay? So again, like if you know something is wrong, then you should not be doing it, okay? So before you decide to do anything, ask yourself, okay, is this wrong? If you say yes, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, okay? So, even Jesus Christ was tempted in the desert, okay? So, so basically temptation happens to all of us, okay? We all have temptations, okay? We all have the desire to do something that's wrong, okay? We all have those desires at times, okay? Which is not good, you shouldn't really have the desire to do something wrong, okay? You really shouldn't have those desires, okay? So that's why I will be giving you 4 ways to overcome temptation, okay? Or is it 4? I think it's 4 ways. So the first way to overcome temptation is by reading your Bible, okay? When we read our Bibles, the Bible renews our minds. And when our minds are renewed, then we will begin to have godly thoughts and not tempting thoughts, okay? So that's the first way to overcome temptation, is by reading your Bible, okay? You should be able to understand that. I guess the second way to overcome temptation is to avoid tempting situations. So, for example, okay, you have to stay away from anyone that will influence you to do evil. So this could be friends or family or strangers online, okay? You have to stay away from those people, okay? So you stay away from people like that. Anybody that influences you to do evil, you must stay away from them, okay? You should be able to understand that, right? That's one way to overcome temptation. Or another way to overcome temptation: stay away from evil people, okay? Or anybody that influences you to do evil, okay? That could be anybody, right? Friends, family, strangers online, strangers. No, anybody can influence you to do evil, but you have to stay away from those people, okay? So that's one way to overcome temptation. Another way to overcome temptation is to stay away from places that may lead you into temptation. For example, you may have to stay away from like bars, like stop going to bars, the clubs, the liquor stores, places like that, because those places can lead you into temptation, right? So we know that the bars and the liquor store, right? When we go to those places, that can influence us to drink alcohol excessively, right? So that's why you should avoid going to bars or the liquor stores, so that you can avoid drinking alcohol excessively, getting drunk, so like basically the point is avoid places that can lead you into temptation, okay? So I gave you the example, you know, bars, the liquor store. Maybe you need to avoid going to the clubs as well, because when we go to the clubs, clubs can influence you to be promiscuous, basically, you know. Being promiscuous meaning to sleep around with multiple people, right? Clubs can influence you to do this, okay, to be promiscuous. So, you know, maybe you can try to avoid going to the clubs as well, okay, so that you do not fall into temptation, okay. So yeah, that's another way to overcome temptation, right? Is to avoid going to places, ungodly places, okay, or any places that can lead you into temptation, okay, or any places that can influence you to sin, okay. Stay away from those places, okay. You should be able to understand that, okay. So yeah, you know, I gave you some ways to overcome temptation, right? Yeah, so please, you know, please listen to me and do what I instructed you to do, you know, so that you can overcome your temptations, okay? So again, you know, temptation the definition of temptation is the desire to do something that you know is wrong or unwise to do, okay? So that's what temptation is, okay? So basically the point is, you know, if you know something is wrong, okay, then you should not be doing it, okay? We all have our conscience, the conscience, right? Our conscience, the conscience, right? The conscience tells us what's right from what's wrong. We all have that, okay? I think at least most of us do, right? We all have a conscience, and our conscience tells us what's wrong from what's right, okay? So please listen to your conscience. If you have one, please listen to it. If it tells you that something is wrong, then don't do it, okay? Okay? So that we do not fall into temptation, okay? So yeah, that's the end of that, okay? So God bless every living soul that will see this video.